Hey guys, this has been a build I've been cooking up since before 0.2. This is a fast mapper with clear speed and move speed that rivals Lightning Spear. The build has great survivability thanks to Svalling and Turtle Charm. The build is also great at bossing, having done tier 4 of every pinnacle boss in under 40 seconds, with the exception of delirium for reasons I'll get into later. This build is very budget friendly, being able to reach 1.5 million DPS in under 3 divines. And at the heart of this build is interaction between Pulsar Killing, Herald of Ice, Armor Explosion, and Anvil's Weight. Some of you might have already caught on to what is happening, but for everyone who is not in the know, let me explain. Interaction works as follows. When you kill the chilled enemy, Herald of Ice explodes. This Herald of Ice explosion chills and breaks armor on nearby enemies. This is thanks to Anvil's Weight, which causes all damage to break armor. This broken armor now triggers Armor Explosion, which was socketed in Herald of Ice. This Armor Explosion kills the chilled enemy, causing another Herald of Ice explosion. The chain then repeats. Well, how are we going to scale Herald of Ice? Herald of Ice cares about two things: damage and area of effect. For damage, you want a mace with high base stats. Cold damage is a plus because it helps with chaining consistency with how Armor Explosion works. You also want cold penetration socketed. The way to think about this is if enemies have 100% cold resistance, no amount of increased damage is going to do anything, but 30% cold penetration would take you from dealing 0 to some amount of damage. Now, for area effect and order of importance, quality on your herald, reach, magnified effect, and then increases from the tree. Sorry about clear skills. There's really only one obvious choice, and that's Leap Slam, both in terms of damage and move speed. What do I mean by move speed? Well, there's a very common misconception that Leap Slam is slow. It's obvious to see where this comes from. When people use Leap Slam, they just hold right click. This is actually very slow. This is the same as having plus 25% move speed and just walking. However, if you incorporate either a dodge roll or a shield charge in your Leap Slam, your Leap Slam will now be equivalent to anywhere between plus 50% move speed and plus 70% move speed. This is the upper limit of what move speed stackers like Lightning Spear can achieve, so it is definitely a very competitive skill in that regard. Now, for those of you still not convinced, let me play you a side-by-side of all three scenarios. Now, when it comes to scaling your Leap Slam, what you care about is level 12 melee skills, so you're going to want to grab that on your amulet, you're going to want to grab that on your gloves, along with increased attack speed. This just makes your Leap Slam faster and more consistent. And then for gems, in order of importance, you want Cold Infusion, Momentum, Close Combat, Martial Tempo, and then just flex anything in your final slot. But if you're using Deepest Tower like me, you might want to slot in Execute. All right, let's talk about defenses. Capped Elemental Resistances, that's a given. High Chaos Res is a luxury, but it's nice. Svalling plus Turtle Charm. You can get up to a 90% chance to block all incoming damage, and this is always. It's just as good as Evasion. You're going to want to have Giant's Blood, so you can actually equip Svalling in order to fulfill attribute requirements early game. Vertex, no-brainer. And then late game, once you have enough money, you're going to swap to Deepest Tower, and you're going to have to grab a Breach Ring with all attributes Strength, an Amulet with Strength all attributes, Strength on your gear, Mace, I mean it's nice, but it's not necessary, and you can get a Strength Corrupt on your Pulsar Killing. In the tree, you're going to want to have Polymathy, Titanic, and you might want to grab this gem with 3% increased Strength. Meganord's Girdle can have up to 65 Strength. This is also very nice. For chest piece, this is a flex slot. You can have a rare chest piece. You can have more Invictus. For more Invictus, you care about elemental resistance, max life, defenses, attributes, or chaos resistances. But if you're early game, I wouldn't recommend more Invictus. I think I would probably recommend this Perfidy Knight Armor. Chance to avoid physical damage, chance to avoid chaos. It's all really good. And on top of that, a 10% damage buff and 10% damage reduction. Very nice. What else? You want to grab Jade Heritage. This gives you a 10% physical damage reduction, while also giving you a 60% of life as Guard, as an active ability. Very nice. You are going to be stacking Armor. Armor is way better than people think. I think it is on par with both Evasion and Energy Shield. You also want to stack Life. You're just going to kind of get this passively from the strength in your tree, but you also probably will want to have it on all of your gear pieces. Now, if I was doing this all over again, I might actually grab Armor, Energy Shield hybrid bases. I think that Energy Shield is very good with Turtle Charm. It's the same reason why people go Energy Shield with Evasion. And you're going to have to run hybrids so that you can actually get strength, plus strength on your gear. You can't just run pure Energy Shield. They can only get Intellect. For charms, Thong Charm, very nice. The rest is flex, just see what's killing you and sock it in to deal with that. If not, just sock it in a rarity. It's better than nothing. And another interesting thing is, if you ever are having problems with getting stunned by melees, and you have enough intelligence, you can sock it in Impetus, Ice Nova, Arm's Length, and Bludgeon. I don't know if this actually works, but I think it does. And this basically is like a Timu Wind Dancer. You're going to get hit, and the Ice Nova is just going to erupt, and it's going to knock away enemies. Yeah, I think that's about it. Let's move on to bossing. Alright, let's talk about damage strategies. Now, this is where things get a little bit difficult, because the only relevant damage strategies for Warrior involve dual wielding 2 maces with high damage, high level of all melee skills. This is obviously not ideal, because both it's very expensive, and the moment you unequip Svalin, your survivability plummets. To get around this, in 0.1, people used set and forget strategies, like Hammer of Gods. However, Hammer of Gods has been gutted, so instead we're going to use Totems. Totems are actually perfect for this. They have great scaling, they're cheap to gear, they're easy passive trees, and snapshot your equipment when you place them. What does this mean in practice? You're going to want to grab 2 maces with high level of all melee skills. This is the only stat that matters. +6 is like 5 exalts, +7 is 1 div. You're going to want to socket in increased skill speed in your maces. This is the only runes that affect your totems. You're going to want to grab +2 level of all melee skills on your gloves, +3 on your amulet. You're going to want to use Rolling Slam as your damaging ability. Wide Rolling Slam, it is the highest scaling mace damage ability, bar none. Higher than Perfect Strike, higher than Sunder, higher than Hammer of Gods, higher than everything else. Now for gems, you're going to use Brutality, Heft, Heavy Swing, and then you're going to flex the last socket. If you don't have a +1 corrupt on your totems, you can use +1 level of all supported physical skills. If you're facing a tier 4 boss, you're going to use Execute instead. In your passive tree, you're going to grab plus maximum number of summon totems here and here, and then just grab damage for totems here and here. You're also going to run into an issue that totems have really high mana costs, especially when you're getting to like +36, +40. This is unsolvable. You're just going to want to grab blood magic in your tree and tank the damage. So usually a DPS rotation will look like this. You set down your 3 totems, swap, and you're going to use Leap Slam to stun the enemy. Why Leap Slam? Leap Slam has this line, consumes fully broken armor to cause 500% more stun buildup. Why do you want to stun the enemy? Rolling Slam has a +50% more damage against heavy stunned enemies. You get a lot of damage from that. That's about it. You know, pop a health potion when you're doing that. You should be good. I haven't really died when doing damage with this, so you should be fine as well. Alright, let's answer some questions. Herald device, what level? I'm running level 17. But I recommend running whatever level you can run. It's not really worth sacrificing much to get just 1 level higher. The scaling is not that great on Herald device. What persistent skill am I running? I am running Time of Need, a fast forward, vitality, cannibalism. Cannibalism is very important on this build. I probably should have talked about it a bit more. How am I getting 3 sockets on my weapon, 2 sockets on my shield, or 5 sockets on my body armor? It is all the result of a corruption. Corruptions can add an additional socket to your gear. Alright, let's then talk about how we're going to make Herald Chaining work on other classes. So, a possibility would be to use the Devastate support gem with Armor Explosion and socket that into Herald Device. This means that your Herald Device needs to stun enemies, which is kind of difficult. I think the only classes this is actually feasible on would be Titan. The other variants use Herald of Blood, so there is an all-class variant where you use Herald of Blood with Burst in play. You need to have high poison and bleed chance for this to work, and it is kind of slow, so I don't really like it that much. But if you are a Blood Mage, you could run Herald of Blood with Splinter and Armor Explosion, and you will have to run the Blood Barbs Ascendancy, but this should hypothetically work, because the way bleed works is that all damage has a chance to bleed, but elemental damage will just apply a bleed with 0 magnitude, so it basically just doesn't apply a bleed. So the moment your elemental damage can contribute to bleed magnitude, you will actually have a chance to bleed, and so your Armor Explosion will propagate bleeds, which will then trigger Herald of Blood, which then does a physical explosion, which then breaks armor on nearby enemies, which then you get the gist.
I actually think like Warbringer, like have you seen like Herald of Ice freaking reach with Magnify with like explosion on Warbringer? It clears like it's like last league's freaking Herald of Ice basically. Like one auto attack will just literally
Can I see it?
like one man, I don't have the video.
I know Reelin's playing like a full screen clear warrior as well.
Yeah, someone showed me the video like yesterday or something, 2 days ago.
They might have it.
Wait, Choir Spark is good on Blood Mage still? It's also in chat.
But that guy wasn't even playing Reach, Jung. Like it's even better with Reach.
Yeah. Are you just putting that on your build so you can say you can have fucking reach around support, dude? Is that why?
No, bro. Like I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know. Like it's still really good.
Herald Chaining.
I definitely think.
What?
I definitely think we could. See, like, but this guy's not even playing Reach though.
I see. So it's
that seems pretty good.
Oh, I see the
yeah,
chain.
it's good clear.
Wait, it's not like lightning spear though, you know.
Yeah, but it looks sick.
I mean, for a warrior, I mean, it's like what do you want, right? But this guy's not playing Reach. Like he has 35% more AOE on top of this, and it just goes full screen.
Which one is?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, it's Warbringer.
Yeah,
Armor, Herald. What's the single target on it?
it's just like a normal. It's like a normal. Look on his Herald Ice, he doesn't have reach, right? Does he? Go on
I think
Herald
that's it.
Ice.
It's the first thing he has. But maybe it's on the video.
Oh, he
you know?
does.
He does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because things change over time and stuff.
Well, yeah, Herald of Ice AoE to get nerfs this patch, so I think
he
Reach gives it
updated
like the old
today.
AoE pretty much.
I mean, that looks pretty good, dude. That looks kind of badass.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
I'm saying, like definitely
warrior,
one,
yeah.
one of these warrior builds with that because that's actually really good, right?
Yeah.
I think it could. I think a lot of people will like playing that versus like just having lightning spear like all the time.
Armor break.